There's a mind-blowing experiment that explains what the kind of food I've eaten most of my life, processed and ultra-processed food, is doing to all of us. Scientists called Professor Paul Kenny, neuroscientist, grew up in Ireland, moved to California, quickly realised Americans do not eat like Irish people, right? They ate much more processed and ultra-processed food. Within a year, he gained 30 pounds, and he started to feel like this food, like this American diet, wasn't just changing his body, it was changing his brain, it was changing what he wanted. So he designed an experiment which I have nicknamed Cheesecake Park to figure out what it does. It's very simple. He raised a load of rats in a cage, and all they had to eat was the kind of whole foods that rats evolved to eat over thousands of years. They were in pellet form, but it's kind of natural food. And they've got loads of it. But when they had the kind of natural food they evolved for, the rats would eat when they were hungry and then they would stop. They had some kind of natural nutritional wisdom that made them just stop, right? Then Professor Kenny introduced them, prepare to salivate, to the American diet. He fried up some bacon, he got them a load of Snickers bars, he bought a load of cheesecake, and he put them in the cage. And the rats went crazy for this new food. They would hurl themselves into the middle of the cheesecake and eat their way out, completely slicked and covered with this cheesecake. And they immediately started to shun the healthy food. They still had plenty of it, they didn't want it, right? And they ate and ate and ate. All that nutritional wisdom that they had with the old kind of food they evolved for disappeared. The way Professor Kenny put it to me is within a few days, they were different animals and they rapidly became obese. Then Professor Kenny did something that to me as a lifelong junk food addict seems very cruel. He took away all that food and he left them with nothing but the healthy food they'd grown up with. And he was pretty sure he knew what would happen. That they would eat more of the healthy food than they had in the past. And this would mean it would prove that that kind of food expands the number of calories you eat. But that's not what happened. Something much weirder happened. They just completely shunned the healthy food. It was like they no longer recognized it as food at all. They would rather starve than go back to eating in a healthy way once they'd had the cheesecake and all that exciting stuff. It was only when they were literally starving that they finally went back and ate it. What this shows, and there's loads of evidence in humans, is the food we're eating is profoundly undermining our ability to know when to stop. That's not your fault. That's the fault of the design of the food. It is profoundly undermining our satiety. We didn't design this crazy food system that from the moment we're born has been profoundly hijacking our appetites and undermining our ability to feel full. But we're all living with the consequences.